three. Horton back to the end zone.
48-yard play. Guess who? Body up the middle, making another move to the outside. 15, 10, end zone again.
Keeps it. Nice move by Brown. He's got space. He's got 6. 35-yard touchdown for Byron Brown. A record-setting night for the South Florida quarterback.
Down so far, a little bit of a high snap. Genty right up the middle. Genty has room. Ashton Genty, give him 6.
Second and long. Lagar tries to fit it in. Ramos, it does. Ramos stays up. The show's off. It's 4-3 Wheels. Incredible effort for Royals.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live, where we are excited to bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I am Luke, and I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. The G5 Hive merchandise store is now live. Link in the YouTube comments as well as pinned on our X page and here at the bottom of the screen. Get to what everybody wants to hear, and that is the G5 Hive All-American team. Offensive-wise, quarterback Devin Dampier, New Mexico. Running back Ashton Genty, Boise State. Running back Mario Anderson Jr., Memphis, friend of the podcast. Wide receiver Nick Nash, San Jose State. Wide receiver Jamal Pritchett, South Alabama. Wide receiver Devontae Ross, Troy. Tight end Harold Fannin Jr., Bowling Green. Offensive tackle Lucas Scott, Army. Offensive tackle Cage Casey, Boise State. Offensive guard Addison West, Western Michigan. Offensive guard Xavier Hills, Memphis. Center Jacob Gardner, Colorado State. Kicker Kenneth Almendarez, Louisiana. Just when they think about like your all-star team, this would be one heck of a team.
Absolutely. And again, I don't know that we had a lot of debate here, really, right? I mean, Kenneth Almendarez was the best placed kicker in all of college football. He won the Lou Groza Award. I don't know. Devin Dampier was lights out at quarterback. Ashton Genty and Mario Anderson Jr., like two of the best running backs in the G5. Mario Anderson Jr., a great guy. We interviewed him. I don't know, was it June, July, somewhere around there?
Yeah.
We did it. We interviewed Mario Anderson Jr. He'll be hopefully getting drafted here in the NFL draft come April. This team right here could do some damage, and I'd like to see this team, make the college football playoff and see what kind of damage these guys could do. But outstanding year for all of them.
Can you imagine, like, you got like Penn State, who has that Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton backfield, and having Ashton Genty and Mario Anderson back there,
right? And Devin Dampier.
Yeah. And then I need to do something quick. Here's Devontae Ross. Here's Pritchett, or like throw it up deep to Nick Nash. Like that. Here's Harold Fannin. Jeez, that would be awesome.
It absolutely would. All right, let's move over to our G5 Hive All-American defense. Edge Mike Green Marshall, defensive tackle Devontae O'Malley, Northern Illinois. Defensive tackle Swanee Toai, San Jose State. Edge Trey White, San Diego State. Linebacker Sean Dolak, Buffalo. Linebacker Red Murdoch, Buffalo. Linebacker Trevion Barnes, Florida International. Safety Tyree Skipper, Louisiana. Safety Caleb Weaver, Sam Houston. Cornerback Za Frazier, UTSA. Cornerback Jordan Oladokin, Bowling Green. And punter Tyler Pastula, San Diego State. Once again, I would say safety was the toughest.
Yeah, like you talked about, Jaden Boyson, Maxon Hook. were a couple options we're
Yeah, I
looking
mean,
at.
it was safety was definitely the hardest, the hardest to kind of just pick two guys. We got two teammates on here, Sean Dolick and Red Murdoch, both linebackers, but they they were number one and number two in college football in tackles. Both had phenomenal seasons, both deserving. Travion Barnes also in the transfer portal. I I want to say I think Baylor's where he ended up. He had a phenomenal year, especially considering he wasn't even the starting middle linebacker to start the year. That was
Yep.
Reggie Peterson. Um, but yeah, I mean, phenomenal season by all these guys.
All right. The G5 Hive Offensive Player of the Year, none other than running back Ashton Jeanty, Boise State. Again, Ashton had 374 rushing attempts for 2,601 yards and 29 touchdowns. He added those 23 receptions for 138 yards and one touchdown via the air. Again, in the first game of the season against Georgia Southern, he rushed for 267 yards, which broke the Boise State single game rushing record, which had stood for 46 years, and he ran for 6 touchdowns, which tied a Mountain West record for rushing touchdowns in a game. Ashton led the FBS in both yards from scrimmage and rushing yards, as well as both rushing touchdowns and total scoring. He won the Maxwell Award and the Doak Walker Award. He was also runner-up in that Heisman contest, and it was the closest Heisman race since 2009. Congratulations, Ashton, on the historic season.
There was no other choice, right? I mean, like we said earlier, phenomenal year. Should have won the Heisman. All right, our G5 Hive Defensive Player of the Year, none other than Edge Mike Green, Marshall. He had 84 tackles, 38 solos, 2 pass defenses, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 23 tackles for loss, 65 pressures, 17 sacks, had a havoc rate of 16.3%. He had a huge breakout season, which saw him finish first in sacks, stops, tackles for loss, second in havoc rate, and total pressures. And he's going to be drafted come April. Phenomenal year.
I think he's a first round potential. I think about him. I'm like, man, if he got to be on like the Baltimore Ravens or a team like that, man, that would be
Yes. Like the Ravens, I think is a good pick for him, because they run a 3-4 and he can play that kind of outside linebacker edge role for them. I think the Ravens would be a great landing spot for Mike Green. But yeah, phenomenal year. Congrats, Mike, on the outstanding season. And we talked about Mike Green. I looked this up earlier this week. Someone was asking me, July 3rd. We interviewed the guys from the Thundercast pod. We did our preview of the Marshall Thundering Herd, and those guys just waxed poetic. They talked about how big of a season Mike Green was going to have back on July 3rd. And that's the kind of information that you're going to get if you listen to our Worker Bee series. We make when we interview these beat reporters, the folks that know the teams the best. It's not always a beat reporter because a lot of G5s don't have a beat reporter. But one of the questions we ask about is your breakout players, both offensive and defense. And Mike Green was the breakout player for those guys, and boy did he break out. He had a phenomenal season. So just another reason why you want to watch our Worker Bee series, which start once again with Hawaii, probably sometime first part of March after spring practice. Early on, we try and do them right after spring practice, but then we get to the point where there's too many, and then we were doing 3 to 5 interviews a week.
sometimes it was a lot.
Yeah, and so when we start getting in that hot and heavy, I want to say I guess probably in April timeframe, we don't do our normal live show just because we're so busy doing those interviews. But they lasted from like April all the way until like the first week of August, I want to say.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Because was it 65 teams, I think. We got 2 more this year that they're becoming the G5 in Missouri State and Delaware. So that's 67. And we haven't had this discussion yet. Me and Luke haven't had this discussion yet, but it's probably time to include Oregon State and Washington State too, which would bump the number up to 69.
I mean, that would be. I mean, we tried to talk with people there, but they're we're not a G5 school. We're still P4. Is the attitude currently? So we'll see if that tune changes here.
We know we're gonna have at least 2 more. We're at least gonna have we'll at least have 2 more to add in the Missouri State and Delaware. So yeah, just another reason to listen to us year round. And that's it for tonight.
All right. So heads up for you guys. We're not going to have any live shows for the next 2 weeks. We're still trying to iron out a couple details. Again, we're not going to have a live show next Monday. We figured a lot of people will be tuning into the national championship game. We want to watch it too. So we're going to be watching that national championship game. We're going to hope to maybe have a recording that goes out. I don't know, Justice, that would go out
the 27th.
So it would go out. Well, it'll be on that Monday of the championship game. There's a chance that we might have something.
Oh, and that'll be the following Monday, the 27th.
Okay. Because we were talking about possibly two things.
Maybe we haven't confirmed the first one. So for sure, we will have a recorded show coming out on the 27th. We'll be talking with someone that runs an NIL collective, and we're going to talk about the impacts of the House settlement, revenue sharing, NIL, and the impacts that the G5 have seen from that. That will be out on, like I said,
Monday,
Monday the 27th. We'll put it out we'll probably release it that morning. So it'll be on our YouTube channel. Real quick, JT says how many G5 teams now? There were 65 if you did not include Washington State and Oregon State. This year, we're adding Missouri State and Delaware, who will become part of Conference USA. So that kicks us up to 67. And if you want to include Washington State and Oregon State, which that's what they are G5, it would be 69. That also includes UConn as an independent. UMass was independent, and we've included them. They will be in the MAC next year, so they will be officially a G5. So that's how we get to the 69. You got all the officials, the official G5s, plus if you want to include the Pac-2 and UConn would get you to 69.
Nice. Yeah. Again, no show, live show Monday, January 20th, but come back and join us in 2 weeks, and we'll dive into that NIL and always bring you up to date on the latest news and happening in the world of G5 college football. Again, next 2 shows, no live show. There's going to be at least one recording that will drop Monday, January 27th. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a retweet, a like, and a follow. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please subscribe and leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Thank you all for your support. Until the next time, we are the G5 Hive.